Good morning. It's another day in the land of the living. We are on AM Prime, and we're so happy that you are here to join us. Today, I want you to be reminded that it is another chance to do things right. It's another chance to share a message of love. It's another chance to be grateful for life. Today's daily inspiration is coming from a quote that I saw online. It's from Ariana Huffington, and it says, "We need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we'll screw up royally sometimes, understanding that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success." And that last part of it really is powerful. Understanding that failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of success. So in whatever we're doing, sometimes, things don't go according to plan. And we have to understand that, that's a part of the plan, if that makes any sense. Just going with the flow, just working towards better. Okay, didn't work out this time, we're going to keep pushing. We're not stopping, we're not going to give up, we're going to keep pushing. Success looks different for everyone. Your success might not be my success. Comparing ourselves isn't going to help the situation. So even though failure does pop up, it's a part of the journey towards success. We need to remember that. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we have some news features. We also have some really important interviews this morning. We're talking about empowering our young men. We're talking to the Chamber of Commerce about the upcoming workshop that they have. And we're also going to be talking to another spotlight on creative duo. It's going to be amazing. Stay with us.
Join me, Sule A. Joseph, as I delve into the day-to-day psychological issues plaguing our society. We will discuss behaviors that encompass the biological influences, social pressures, and environmental factors that affect how you think, act, and feel. Site, Thursdays at 11:30 a.m., only on WESN, Content Capital.
Know the signs of fraudulent investment. Follow the ABCs of investing. Ask questions. Beware of investment fraud. And check with the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission first to verify that the individual and investment are registered. Protect you and your loved ones from investment fraud.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing on it.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is it no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the red, white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinbagonians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
We're going to some regional news this morning, and we are going to check in with Barbados in the first one. So a senior fisheries official is cautioning about the impact of climate change and traditional fish stocks available in Barbados. Let's watch.
The increased temperature will affect all of those, the recruitment rates, the mortality rates, and the migratory patterns. So we're going to have to get into understanding that what we may not over time be able to access some of the traditional fish stocks that we're accustomed to, and certainly not in the quantities that we're used to. So there has to be some adaptation in terms of what we harvest and how we harvest them. And those are the things that I think we have to all be aware of. If it is imminent, that we will, at the Fisheries Division, deploy tractors to certain landing sites on a certain schedule, and the fishermen will be made aware that the tractors will be there to assist in haul-ups onto what beach space is available and what land area is available. And this has been in the case for many, many years now. But the key thing is that it has to be understood that the fisherman has to be ready, has to be there at the site at the time the tractor is there. And also it has to be done in a time frame that would allow the staff for the removal of the vessel to be as safe as possible.
And over to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. After more than a decade of work, Sustainable Grenadines Incorporated is seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for the Ashton Lagoon Restoration Project. Let's take a look.
The Ashton Lagoon in Union Island has come a long way since restoration work started here over a decade ago. A visit to the site prior to 2000 would show a vast difference to the present, as there is now thriving bird and marine life, as well as revitalization of the marina. Searchlight paid a visit to the lagoon, which is the largest natural bay and mangrove ecosystem in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to see the progress of the restoration work being carried out by Sustainable Grenadines, a local non-governmental conservation organization. Executive Director of SUSGREN, Orisha Joseph, said the next phase of the restoration project is the construction of a swale system, which will address the dieback area in the center of the mangrove.
A swale system is to allow, again, for water this time to flow into the mangrove area, which is to improve or to restore the hydrology in the mangrove forest. Because when you fly over the area, you will realize that in the middle of the mangrove, it's gray and it seems like it's dying. That is because the hydrology in that area has not been restored completely. And in order to do that, you need to install a really huge swale system, and those swale systems will have to bring a lot of water in the area and then flush it out. If it's really good, we can see that area being restored in as little as 3 years. And we saw that just by the honey hut, when we just planted red mangroves specifically, because within Ashton you have all the 4 types of mangroves. You have the black mangrove, so that is the mangroves that you're seeing dying in the area, and that is because black mangroves, their roots come from below, and their root cannot be inundated with water for too long, because then it will be rotten. So what we will do, rather than planting the black mangroves, we will plant the red mangroves because they could survive in more harsher conditions.
With the completion of this work, Joseph said the Ashton Lagoon will soon be on its way to being 100% restored.
I mean, it was just dead. Nothing happened there for the last 20-something years. So I say it's at 50% now, and the work that we will do will add another, let's say, 20%. 20 to 30%, because you also have the trail system that needs to be developed in the future, which will not be done under this project because of insufficient funding, because that will cost another $300,000 EC dollars.
Expansion of the coral nursery is also on the to-do list for SUSGREN, as well as plans for starting eco-friendly tourism activities. This phase of the restoration work is being funded by the Caribbean Biodiversity Fund to the tune of $800,000. Christina Smith for Searchlight Online.
That was our regional news this morning. Stay with us. We have more coming up after the break. We're going to be talking to the Ministry of Sport and Community Development about Empower, their series Empowering Men. We also have some international news later on in the show. Stay with us.
The best birthday gifts are at thebesttoys.com. Shop for the best brands you love at the best prices. Like VTech, Leapfrog, Fisher-Price, Play-Doh, Hot Wheels, Barbie, Cocomelon, LOL, Baby Alive, Crayola. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship MacBean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 32DBEST to order. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
People really want to know, what about me? Where do I fit?
Yes.
What is in the ride for me in terms of a better Trinidad and Tobago? And I'm pleased to shed some light on that.
The purpose of bail is to ensure your attendance at court. That's it. It is not punitive. It is not rehabilitative.
We, the police officers, we are professional, and we are here for whenever the survivor is ready to come forward.
We have the right to private and family life, the right to religious freedoms and beliefs and thoughts and expression. But these rights are not absolute. Certain rights can be limited.
The law is to govern the whole. It's for all of us in public.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best. I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in-depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WASN,
the content capital.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
For the past 2 weeks on AM Prime, we've been having conversations surrounding men and their mental health, society's view of men, and how we could change the stigma around men, understanding that they can seek help, that it's okay to seek help despite the backlash, despite the negative connotations that come with it. We have on Zoom joining us this morning the team from Ministry of Sport and Community Development to talk about Empower, a program that's geared towards educating, informing, elevating, and embracing men. On the line with us is Shamika Ramlal, who is the project lead of Empower TT at Ministry of Sport and Community Development. Shamika, thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Dominique, and thank you for having me.
Nice. It's good to see you.
Same here.
All right. So tell us about the origin of this initiative. Where did Empower TT come from?
So Empower TT, firstly, Male Empowerment Program by the Ministry of Sport and Community Development, is really the brainchild of the Honorable Shamfa Kudjo, Minister of Sport and Community Development. Okay. And she would recall that back in 2008, 2009, thereabouts, when she would have just returned from the US to Trinidad and Tobago, she came back with this idea that she wanted to conceptualize a male empowerment program, or a program that focuses on male development of young men. And this would have been before she even came into government, a Black Diamond project. And in the year 2019, whilst during her tenure as Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs, she had the opportunity to, give birth to this project, Empower. So Empower TT would have initially started in 2019 while she was there, and they would have gone through the first component of the program, the M zones, the male-friendly zones, and then COVID came and it had to be halted. And when she came over to Ministry of Sport and Community Development, the Prime Minister would have permitted her to relaunch this project. So Empower TT relaunched last year, August 2022, and here we are.
Nice. That sounds really good. Tell us about the M zones, those male-friendly zones.
So the M zones, those male-friendly zones, are really spaces that are curated for launch talks, where we bring together young men between the ages of 16 and 40 years old across Trinidad and Tobago, where we go into community centers, on blocks, and we create this, even bars, because we've been to Barcode in Tobago as well. Spaces that men gather, where real talk could really happen. We've really engaged the over 150 masters and brand ambassadors to really connect with these young men and share their stories, where these young men can also come and open up and share their experiences. So we've covered topics like I Am Man and crime and gang violence. We've covered how can women support? Because so many times we focus on the development of women and creating women of worth. And I remember the Honorable Shamfa Kudjo, she would always say, growing up, she was involved in Girl Guides and Brownies, and there were so many programs or avenues for young women to really develop themselves and grow. And very few times you would hear about a male program of this type. So that is where the M zones would have really come from.
Right. Right. I love the fact that you are actually going into the spaces where the men are. So you're not taking them off of where they are from, dusting them off and carrying them into this, space that may not be where they feel freely to open up. Talk to us about the participation of the men and how receptive they've been to the mentors that are now on this program.
Well, Dominique, if I may add, this program is really geared towards the young men of East Port of Spain specifically. So if you recall, back in, I believe, July 2020, the Prime Minister would have established a committee that really focused on the development of the people of East Port of Spain and even other communities that had or faces similar issues. Coming out of that would have been the community recovery reports. Empower TT falls under the remit of this program or this arm of government. So the men a part of the Empower TT program would have really come from these areas like Carenage and Belmont, Nevada, Trumakak. We had young men coming from Lower and Upper Laventille, the Harp, Shafford Court. So these young men are young men that to society at times would, have this stigma.
Yeah.
So we wanted to focus on the development of them, and the outpouring of love and support has been tremendous. Tremendous, coming both from our stakeholders, the masters and brand ambassadors that came on board, and even the trainees, the participants. So we had young men that were exposed to dining etiquettes and how to treat people, shared grace, resume, dressing for success, effective communication, and so much more. So the support and the reception, I should say, even from these young men coming from these communities would have really been, we had young men who would say, we would go to a session and they would say, we never knew that people cared about us so much. And I think that is really made a good success coming out of the Empower TT program.
Yeah, definitely. So beyond the program, so they come to the program, I think it's a 6-week program you would have mentioned. There was the graduation that happened recently. Talk to us about the graduation and then moving forward. Are these men able to now feel motivated to, go out into the world of work, practice what they would have learned, that sort of thing?
So the program was not a 6 weeks program entirely. Okay. So there were 4 components. The first component being the M zones, the male-friendly zones or launch talks. And then the second component would have been the life skills development training component. And this is where, so the M zones would have been open to everyone, everyone, all male, because the woman would have to leave the room so that the men could carry on their conversations. Yes. So the life skills development components would have really allowed these men 18 to 40 years old to commit during the daytime 9 to 3 daily for a period of 6 weeks. And that's where they would have covered these different life skills training. So we brought on a company, Backham, Mr. Selvin Lewis and his team, where they would have really trained these guys in these areas. And then we moved on to the third component being the life coaching and career guidance component. We brought on a life coach and a psychologist where they were really able to uproot some of these young men issues that can't be spoken about or have not been spoken about, and really prepare them and, guide them in that way. Because we had young men coming on board where they never knew what they want to be or what they want to do. And out of this program now, they have a clearer idea and understanding of, what's next. And the last component would have been the apprenticeship and mentorship component, where we then were able to assign and deploy these young men into agencies, ministries, institutions, where they further develop skill sets that they had interest in, or even begin to enter the world of work at different ministries where they had career paths that they were interested in. So we had places like MIC took on young men, or welding, and plumbing. We had young men who wanted to do culinary arts, TTT, film TT, Ministry of Agriculture, planning, and so many more. So like you would have mentioned, last Saturday we had the graduation program where over 200 young men would have stayed the course with us during this period and would have graduated and completed the program. And today, we are proud, we are happy to say that more than 17 companies and agencies would have kept on some of these young men coming in, because one of the requirements for the program, or the only requirements I should say, have been that you needed to be unemployed, because the program was run during the day.
Right.
And these young men are now, a lot of them are now permanently employed, whereas they would not have been before. And for those who aren't permanently employed, we have a lot of young men now engaged and enrolled in other programs where they can further develop these skills that they have developed and are interested in.
Wow. What are some of because I know the team, must be excited about the work that you're doing and seeing, the success of the program. What are some of the, far-reaching benefits that you're seeing now into these communities? Because now you have the man, which is, sort of like the head of the household, going to be employed, reinstated, feeling confident, have these new skills, and now they're able to pass it on. So talk to us a bit about that and that long-term goal that the team has for this program.
Dominic, if we look at the household or we look at society in a whole, the or the male folk being, these leaders, the breadwinners. And then we look at community gang violence that sometimes tend to be so prevalent in these communities. I believe that if as a ministry, if as a community, we focus on the development of the male folk, we develop the young men, the boys and our young men rather, then by extension, we would see the far-reaching benefits of this, where we would get these guys off of the streets. And may I interject here and even say that it may not happen overnight. It will not happen overnight. So this program has taken place now and is presently ongoing. But I believe, like one of our masters would always say, it takes a lifetime to make a life or to reach a life. So even the guys that would have dropped off of the program during the course of the 4 components, we are happy that they would have come into contact with this program. They would know that, there are other males, there are other male role models within society that we can now turn to, mentors, masters that are just a phone call away, and even those that are still on board and would have stayed the course and completed. So we believe as a ministry that we may not see, all of the impact or all of the results overnight or, next week, next year, but we do anticipate and we do believe that the impact or the deposit that we would have made through this program, and more so the masters and brand ambassadors that volunteered and came on board, it's going to stay with them, these participants.
Nice, nice. If persons want to get more information on the program, when the next cohort would start, when enrollment would be, where can they find you on social media, or contact number, email address, or website?
So they can find us on, first of all, on the All Ministry of Sport and Community Development social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. They can also find us on Empower TT. Presently, the program Empower TT falls under the remit of the Community Development Division, so they can also contact us there, or they can reach us at 303-4663.
All right. Thank you, Shamika Ramlal. We appreciate you for joining us to talk to us more about this Empower TT. Persons who are viewing the interview, go on social media, check it out, check out what they have done. And if you know a male in the area, in these areas, a male that you want to get involved, find out more about when they're enrolling. We take a short break. When we come back, we have lots more in store.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
With society plagued by a host of issues, with debates surrounding our urgent concerns falling short, with questions of our future not always being answered,
the conversation continues. Join me, Kemuel Pascal, as the voice of the youth comes to life. We will confront the controversial topics of today's world to gain answers that are key for a better tomorrow. One and One with me, Kemuel Pascal, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. only on WESN Content Capital.
We discuss gestational diabetes, a form of diabetes which develops in pregnant women. This medical condition can affect both the fetus and mother, but can be managed to ensure that you have a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby.
From the first trimester, there's an increased risk of miscarriages, an increased risk of fetal abnormalities. So these are congenital. The baby could be born with an abnormality.
What's Up, Doc? Every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN Content Capital.
But if we died with Christ, we have faith that we will also live with him. We know that Christ has been raised from the dead, and he will never die again. Death no longer has power over him. He died to sin once and for all with his death, but he lives for God with his life. Join WESN as we explore the death and resurrection of Christ with He is Risen, a perspective from varying leaders within the Christian faith. He is Risen, starting March 27th, only on WESN, the content capital.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through? Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
We just had a wonderful conversation with the team at Ministry of Sports and Community Development about empowering men, empowering them to engage, to embrace their manhood, and to also be educated, to learn skills that they can pass on, not just to their families, not just to their friends, but to the next generation. You know, we're going to toss to our Watch This, which is a local artist, AMI, and her song Champion. She did a cover version of this song with the Lightbox series a couple of years ago. Take it in.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Wanna na 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 na. Wanna na 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 na. Ooh, yeah. Sometimes life rough and you want give up, 'cause nothing not go nice. When you feel like you just had enough and you can't go by. When you smile through the pain in your life, but you really walk right. When the burden's too much and you feel like give up, boy. Life and we journey, sometimes easy, sometimes hard. Have to fight with your might and strength, but don't forget your heart too. In your heart you are a lion. In your heart you are a lion, yeah. So you fi shine your light and win your fight like a champion, and say after me. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Say whoa, boy, little but talawa. I say a little but talawa, yeah. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Say whoa, boy, because you're little but talawa. I say you're little but talawa, yeah. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Resilient at heart and strong in your spirit, time for me big up my people. From your trust in a God and fight in a life if you win, 'cause yeah, when I go leave ya. In your heart you are a lion, yeah. In your heart you are a lion, yeah. So you fish shine your light and win your fight like a champion, and say after me. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Say boy, because a little bottle. I say a little bottle, yeah. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Say boy, because you little bottle. I say you little bottle, yeah. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. You little bottle, I say you little.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we have more interviews in store for you. Stay with us.
The best birthday gifts are at thebesttoys.com. Shop for the best brands you love at the best prices. Like VTech, Leapfrog, Fisher-Price, Play-Doh, Hot Wheels, Barbie, Cocomelon, LOL, Baby Alive, Crayola. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship MacBean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 32DBEST to order. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
The best laptops and tablets are at thebesttoys.com. Get a Gateway 14.1-inch Ultra Slim notebook or an HP 14-inch laptop at the best prices in TNT. Get the Fire 7 tablet for $474. You can also shop the latest Amazon Fire Sticks. Call now at 32DBEST to order or visit us in-store at Forces Flagship MacBean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Free delivery available throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Cash or links on delivery.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best. I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in-depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WASN,
the content capital.
We discuss gestational diabetes, a form of diabetes which develops in pregnant women. This medical condition can affect both the fetus and mother, but can be managed to ensure that you have a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby.
From the first trimester, there's an increased risk of miscarriages, an increased risk of fetal abnormalities. So these are congenital. The baby could be born with an abnormality.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
Thank you for staying with us. Our next interview, we'll be talking to the TT Chamber and Commerce, the Environmental Social Governance Committee of the TNT Chamber, a non-profit organization, will be hosting a one-day workshop on Tuesday, 28th of March. And on the line via Zoom to tell us more about this is Rudolph Hamanji. He is the interim chairman of this committee. Welcome, Rudolph.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning to all of your viewers.
No problem. Thank you for being here. So for us who may not be familiar, tell us a bit about the onset of this Environmental Social Governance Committee.
Great question, because ESG, environmental, social, and governance frameworks are new relatively to the Caribbean.
Yes.
This framework seeks to bring together a number of existing business practices, such as recycling, renewables, diversity and inclusion, CSR, and corporate governance under one umbrella framework.
Okay.
And why that is important is that in short order, companies will be audited not only on their financial metrics, but their non-financial metrics. And all of those activities that fall in those three pillars are what we determine as non-financial metrics. So for example, if a company says, well, we have reduced our carbon footprint,
right,
that's fine and wonderful for them to say, but how do you then prove and report on that metric? So someone, an external auditor, would have to come in and check your policies and provisions and look at exactly what you are doing and give you an objective stamp of approval that you are indeed doing that. And why that is so critical, especially in the Caribbean, is because we are on the front lines of climate change. We are on the front lines of the need to grow businesses and be innovative and to use our resources more selectively and strategically. And if we aren't able to report on these metrics, investment dollars will not come to the Caribbean anymore. We may actually lose export markets, we may actually lose supply chains because the international companies, especially in the markets where we trade, they are asking for ESG reporting. So that is why the Chamber of Commerce, which is the voice of business in Trinidad and Tobago, and EY Caribbean, Ernst & Young Caribbean, they join together to create this committee. It's the first of its kind in the large chambers, and other chambers are also launching similar committees because businesses need to be trained and people needed to have expertise to meet those criteria I shared with you earlier.
Right.
So that's why the committee was formed, and that's why it's important.
Yeah, that is a large undertaking, but it's important to have the proper reporting, and these are really sensitive issues. In terms of the rollout of this locally, because we know this is practice internationally, but the rollout of it's changed, it's something that's new. How has it been in terms of rollout for companies locally? Has there been, good reception to it, or there's been a bit of hesitance to have this up and running, or it's something that's now being introduced to companies?
It really has been very encouraging.
Okay.
I must say that the private sector across the spectrum, whether it's small to large, they are starting to understand the importance of these types of activities. I mean, CSR has been a huge pillar for most companies. I mean, if you ask the average business person, they will involve their businesses and themselves in some kind of charity work, in some sort of community outreach. But when you look at, as you said, the more complex matters such as the environment or diversity, or how do you govern your company, because not all companies have a board of directors. Not all companies have policies and procedures. So that is where, as they say, the metal needs to hit the road, because it's easy to say in a strategic plan that we want to be the best employer, or we want to be transparent and accountable. But then you have to put the necessary policies and procedures, and you have to invest the time and the money in developing your systems. So the response from a conceptual level has been very positive in the Caribbean. Our companies, as I said, they understand the risks. So basically, what they've been saying is, okay, you are the Chamber of Commerce. How can you help us to transition? What resources can you bring to the table that would make this easier for us? And EY as well, we are a Caribbean-wide firm. We have over 8 practices. We serve over 17 jurisdictions in the region. This is actually part of how we give back to our community and stakeholders. We use these services as a complement to the vast array of other services that we offer. And it is in our interest that our clients are compliant, because if our clients are compliant with the ESG standards, then they will continue to be able to grow and be successful, and we will grow with them. So this is why it was a natural partnership for the Chamber and EY to come together, because the Chamber represents most businesses in Trinidad and Tobago across all sectors. And I must say, most of the Chamber's members are actually small businesses, believe it or not. And EY represents, again, we have clients across the spectrum also. So we bring the perspective of the client to bear, and the Chamber is able to then use that perspective to lobby with the government, as well as to provide training opportunities like the one coming up on March 28th.
So tell us more about that training opportunity, all the details surrounding it.
It's an exciting program. As I said, this chamber has really invested the time to get the work out there quickly. It's called ESG Champion Workshop, and throughout this day, companies that send their representatives are going to have the benefit of walking away with a toolkit where those representatives will now understand all of the complexities of ESG, the various risks, but most importantly, the solutions. So they will now be able to go back into their companies and act, as the name suggests, act as a champion for ESG. And they will be able to work with their companies to set up an ESG subcommittee. They can then develop an ESG strategy. And where necessary, yes, they can bring in external consultants, or they can do some of it on their own. But at least they would have this toolkit that is certified by both EY and the Chamber, so that they know that when they activate some of these ideas or solutions, they are doing it in a consistent and proven manner. And what that allows is, for the first time, Trinidad and Tobago companies will be able to start reporting to the Chamber on some of their initiatives in a more streamlined manner, so that the Chamber can actually develop a national report of sorts that says these companies all are certified in this training, they are all implementing consistent policies, and this is the outcome. And the country can then use that report in its own national reporting, because apart from the corporations, what I just want to quickly add, Trinidad and Tobago has to understand that countries also have to start reporting on these frameworks. So it's at various levels that ESG will have to be reported on. And the country would need a consistent public and private sector reporting mechanism. So that is why all of this is so important, because people may have heard, for example, that countries are committing to reducing their carbon footprints by X%. The only way you can report on that is to have these types of consistent policies. And Trinidad and Tobago is, for example, focused in the transportation sector. We want to reduce it by 30%. But the public, PTSC, is not the only agency that has transportation.
Correct.
Any company that has a courier service or distribution chain of vehicles they are all regarded as having transportation contributions to carbon footprint. So I hope that the audience is understanding that this is important at so many levels.
Yes. Where can persons get information, whether it's on social media or website, that they can, get details on the upcoming conference?
With the magic of Google, they can simply Google Trinidad Chamber ESG Workshop. They can also visit the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber's Facebook page or Instagram and LinkedIn pages. They will get all of the information. There is a cost to the workshop, and it varies based on whether you're a member or a non-member. It starts at $1,100, but as I said, it is a fantastic investment, and it's an entire day of workshopping. So it's not a series of lectures. You will actually be engrossed in interactive activities that allows you to really assimilate the information, and as I said, almost immediately return to your organization and start implementing.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us this morning. I hope the audience is listening. This is really a good initiative, a step in the right direction to having things documented and in order. It can only help your business grow. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
No problem.
All the best.
Yes, no problem. We head straight to the news. When we come back, we have so much more in store for you this morning.
Seven is out, all day is in. WESN News on the hour.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this, screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
With society plagued by a host of issues, with debates surrounding our urgent concerns falling short, with questions of our future not always being answered,
the conversation continues. Join me, Kemuel Pascal, as the voice of the youth comes to life. We will confront the controversial topics of today's world to gain answers that are key for a better tomorrow. One and One with me, Kemuel Pascal. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Only on WESN Content Capital.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through? Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Our next interview is going to be our Spotlight on Creatives. You know, our Spotlight on Creatives interview really shed a light on creatives in the local, regional, and international space who are doing amazing things, who are really being creative, pioneering ways, whether it's through family legacy, whether it's through, creating a new path. And the Jessup brothers are joining us, and they're no stranger to that creativity. Welcoming via Zoom, the Jessup brothers. Thank you for being here.
Morning, everyone. Morning.
Morning. How are you all doing this morning?
Yeah, we great, I mean, we have another day to be thankful for, so.
Nice. Okay, so I'm excited about this conversation because first I heard a snippet of the song that you posted on social media. So we'll get into the song, but I want to know, you two, you are brothers, blood brothers. You are in partnership doing some amazing things. When did you first discover your desire for creativity, that passion within you for it?
I think that would have been developed, from a tender age, as early as getting involved in musical instruments. Mm-hmm. So we would have started off, in pan, stuff like pan. And then, we would have gravitated to other instruments because of the pan. So we would have gravitated to like drums, guitar, percussion stuff. So I think that really encouraged us to really tap into our creative side and really tell ourselves that, we have a lot more potential installed in us than just creating music, Right. I think that allowed us to, push ourselves to the next level. And then my brother here, because we used to get involved in like events management, events planning, he got into the side of designing like flyers.
Okay.
But I started off small for him, on like those online apps,
right.
You would chance himself, try his hand at different things, and that's where it would have developed now to where, a lot of the work that you would see us do in terms of advertising on our page is done by him.
Okay, nice. Very nice. So for people who don't know, who are the Jessup brothers? Talk to them about what you've been doing over the years and that sort of thing.
I think the best way to describe the Jessup brothers and
music, art, and development.
Yeah,
Okay.
the dynamic duo that involves itself in music, art, and development. That's actually one of our catch slogans. We call it Mad Vibes, and the Mad is for music, art, and development.
Okay.
With so, that's basically Jessup brothers. We like to, get our hands or feet wet in terms of anything creative. So anything on the creative side, you'll see us getting our hand, and we're never afraid to challenge ourselves in terms of tea. So that's one.
Nice. So more recently, we would have seen that you launched your shoe brand. Tell us about that, the name of it, and how that has been going. Local sneakers, but quality sneakers. So tell us about that.
Tell them now.
Well, Classics Republic, the name of our company, it was established through the pandemic. I would say through some dark times, when we were forced to challenge ourselves or think outside of the box. I was involved in a sneaker competition in the States.
Okay.
Where we were challenged to design the colors for the sneakers that the person would have created. Unfortunately, I did not win the competition or anything, but there was a lot of traction and a lot of persons who felt that I was, wrongly cheated.
Okay.
And as a result, I would have found the motivation from my brother and I and a friend discussing that you can't really be a king in another man's kingdom. We decided that we should try to more or less invest into something of our own. So we would have gone through a whole series of different designs and whatnot, and collaborative effort towards colors and these sort of things as to what it would be appealing, but not just appealing, but durable to not just Trinis, but to the market itself. After which, when we found something that we were comfortable with, we said this has to be represented as something for Carnival, especially as sneakers is an important thing when it is you are covering of war.
Yes.
Yeah. And well, us being, soca artists, we would be involved in the Carnival and whatnot. So we would have had an experience with, wearing bad sneakers on the road or whatnot, what to look for and what not to look for. So I think that would have also propelled us a lot with, providing a product that is not just great in looks, but also it is very comfortable.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it stands out, the visuals. You see on social media, it stands out. It's something that, you want to receive. You want to have your own pair. It's not I know it's not an easy feat. I know it's not something that just, happens overnight. So talk to us about that process.
Like he said, we've come up with a number of designs, and that in itself would have been based on having several meetings, having several sit-downs. That's definitely one of the things that we focus on, trying to meet up and collaborate, share ideas, bounce ideas on each other. So it is a lot of back and forth. It takes a lot of time in terms of just, the nitty-gritty of things. And then on top of that, there's the side of, just shipping and organizing things and, waiting for it to reach down. That in itself is a whole process as well. So there's a lot of challenges, behind it that we have to endure.
Still learning.
Yeah, and it's still learning, as you said, it still is a process for us at the same time. But I guess as we, continue along this track, we have seen improvements, we have learned, and we have learned to, make the best of the situation that is provided for us.
Yeah.
So I think that is one of the key things that we've taken away from it.
Right.
From it.
What keeps you motivated? What keeps you creating, despite the challenges that you would have mentioned, some of them that you mentioned? What keeps you pushing, towards creating even more?
I think the ability to be able to learn more. That's motivated.
Sure.
Because as we see it, it wouldn't have been as easy as it was on the first try.
Right.
Currently now it becomes a bit more easier. The more you get involved. So I think the experience is something that keeps us motivated in the way that it can make things, I wouldn't say a lot easier for us, but it would make the way forward a lot comfortable for us to express ourselves or give our best in this industry.
Right.
And if you have any other views for motivation?
Yeah, well, to me, in terms of motivation, I think it's just something natural, we love creativity. We love to see the creativity unfold, like it's like a puzzle. I like to see at the end, one good piece of work or, work of art, basically. So I think that in itself is a motivation, just to see the end product. You start somewhere and then you see the end product and it's like, whoa, I actually had my hand in, this great idea in the end. So I think one of the motivations for us is to leave a mark on our culture and impact. I think that in itself is something great that we want to really have an impact on as well. So
Most
I think
definitely. What has the response been though locally? I mean, I've seen on social media, but tell me about the response to this product. What it has been like? Did it shock you that people were interested in it? What has that been like for you?
I mean, just by the fact that we were able to have a great pre-order. I mean, we had at least 100 pairs in the first batch for order alone. Just by that alone in itself showed us that we had a very great response in terms of people accepting the sneakers, and not just that alone. Like when it actually touched down and reached here, I believe the response went up even more, and persons were even more interested in actually getting their pairs. So I think the response from the locals has been excellent. And as we continue to push the brand and push that awareness, and as people get to see the brand, I think it encourages more persons now to, get on board, because they see this, they see it and they'll be like, yo, where's mine? There's a sense that they feel a bit left out, that, they're not being a part of something that could reach to the next level in terms of internationality. And that is really the aim of our company and where we want to head. We want to take this sneaker brand and not just make it for the locals, but make it international, because we have a lot of persons from Trinidad around the world.
Yes, diaspora,
They would also like to feel a part of home in the end. And this is what this sneakers allows them, to, when they look down on their foot, they are able to say, yo, this is a part of home. This came from my home island. And everybody they would be talking to, and they, explain to them, and they ask, they would feel a sense of pride. So, it's like, wait, boy, Trinidad, the quality that could actually come out of this little island is vast.
That's true.
So that's one of the things that we look at.
Switching gears to music. So this is not your first run at music. You have been doing this, as you said, from a very young age. Talk to us about that journey in music and leading up to this new release.
Journey in terms of music, well, as you said, it would have been started off as a tender age in terms of pan.
Like basic foundations.
I think that you feel like that would have set the basic foundation for like a rhythm and groove and timing.
Okay.
That would have really helped us. And then like
talent shows at school.
Oh yeah. Talent shows. I mean, even though those are talent shows, it wasn't at where we are now. You have a little stage fright, you're growing, you're learning.
Yes.
So I think like when it was 2017 that we officially started in terms of writing and singing.
Okay.
And actually started off for kicks,
Yeah. It started off by just, a little wildness, me and my brother, just because, we have that rhythm and groove, we did a little chants and stuff. And then, we saw it and we say, why not, take it seriously and, actually start writing and, creating content for persons to share. So I think that's what really pushed us. And then in 2017, we would have released our first song called Come On. A really nice song. It was actually accepted nicely. And in our second song, we would have brought out AIA. We got a lot of good response on that one as well because that one propelled us to on the morning show.
All right, yes.
We got a lot of interviews from that one. I think that one really kick-started things.
Yeah, okay.
Us in terms of getting our foot inside, in terms of the music industry and getting a lot of performances because that was a nice one. All right, and then from there, obviously, we would have propelled, we would have started to do a little more work and in terms of our writing. And then I think like during the pandemic period, that would have been a challenge for persons. I think that period, like we really pushed ourselves. I got a little involved in the music. So I started to do like music production.
Again, thinking outside the box.
Yeah, you understand? Always try to push ourselves, so now, that we could do music production. It allowed us now to, tap in a little more to the side and not have to, wait on somebody else to input and really direct where you want your music to go.
Yes, yeah.
That's one of the things now that we have developed. And now that, we are able to develop that, it also allowed us now to connect with more persons. And it's how we were able to connect with Kit.
Correct.
So, big up Kit one time, advocate, a great friend as well, very talented producer. So I must give him props on this project that we worked on here. It was just epic. And like he would say too, it was just one session once we ever met. We got a complete song.
Okay.
Not even a full day.
Yeah.
If you think of it.
That thing happened like within
hours.
Normal session.
Yeah.
It'd be like what, 3 hours, 4 hours? That happened.
About 3-4 hours. It happened.
So tell us a bit about this song, the meaning of the song itself. You would have written the lyrics, right?
Right, yes. So this song is basically like it's a song to enjoy yourself while you're in events. So the song is called Brace, basically. So when we say brace is something that the Trinidadians would use when somebody's dancing on them. You brace yourself. Yeah, start to hold yourself because when a bumper pushing back, it might be a little play.
You can fall in it.
You can fall.
If you're in brace, fall.
You can fall if you're in brace. If you're not strong enough, you can get pushed down. So, it really emulates that energy, that fun, that dancing, which is what our culture incorporates basically, a lot of dancing, whining, drinking, basically enjoyment.
Our culture, yes, that's true.
Fun and enjoyment. We love festivals. We love easy going stuff. So it really just encompasses that, and I guess the writing would have surrounded that, and it would have developed to the piece that it is right now. A really nice piece. Groovy is really nice. I could see persons, really getting.
And as Kit said, he wouldn't really consider it to be just soca.
Yeah, it's soca.
Like
and I think that's one of the things that we challenge ourselves with, trying to, tap into a new song, a unique song that would resonate with persons.
Right. Beyond the season.
I believe, yes, beyond the season. I believe that is what I've been focusing on in terms of my music production now, in terms of not just the basic soca, but, a unique song that could fuse with soca.
Okay.
That to the next level. So,
understood.
Right.
Before we wrap, because we're really thankful that you were able to join us and to share with us. You're doing amazing things we've been seeing, and we wish you great success in that. What advice would you give to other creatives who are coming up, who may be seeing the challenges before them, who want that success, but they do have to go through that journey to that success? What advice would you give to them?
No matter how dark the road gets, there's always light at the end.
Okay.
It might seem very impossible, but trust me, in here, somehow there's a way. Push on, as he said.
Keep pushing. You have a lot of potential within you. A lot of times, as an artist or even as a person, we tend to underestimate ourselves, and that itself is a bit of self-sabotage.
Yes.
Because we playing down yourself before you even know the possibilities, you know. So as you say, yeah, in any dark situation, there's, you know, at the end of the day, there's a silver lining where the cloud is.
Yep.
So, you know, the sky is the limit. Keep pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, things. I feel like things will eventually work out once you keep pushing at something.
Yeah,
you know,
being consistent. Yes.
Yes, be consistent with whatever you're doing. You have a plan, keep at it. And when I say consistent, don't keep doing the same thing exactly, because
right.
if you continue doing the same thing and expecting a different result, you're a madman.
Yeah.
So, yes, just keeping consistent,
That's what
but
I'm
try
have a
different
little
things.
man
Have
in
a
here.
plan.
That makes sense, yes.
Try different things that would help you to reach the same end goal.
Right. Yes. Where can persons find Breeze if they want to listen to this song, they want to follow you on social media? To give them your handles.
Yeah, Brace can be found on all, I think, music platforms, Tidal, Spotify, iTunes. You could check it out on YouTube as well if you do not have those platforms. You know, we always have the YouTube, so you could check us out on YouTube as well. You could find us on YouTube at Jessup Brothers, JESSOP BROTHERS. And that would also be our social media handles for Instagram and Facebook. So yeah, that's basically it for our social media handles there.
All right. Thank you very much, Jessup Brothers, for joining us today. We appreciate you. All the best to you. We're looking out to see what you are up to next.
I appreciate it.
No problem. We take a short break. When we come back, we'll wrap up our show. Thank you.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
People really want to know, what about me? Where do I fit? Yes. What is in the ride for me in terms of a better Trinidad and Tobago? And I'm pleased to shed some light on that.
The purpose of bail is to ensure your attendance at court. That's it. It is not punitive. It is not rehabilitative.
We, the police officers, we are professional, and we are here for whenever the survivor is ready to come forward.
We have the right to private and family life, the right to religious freedoms and beliefs and thoughts and expression. But these rights are not absolute. Certain rights can be limited.
The law is to govern the whole, is for all of us in public.
We are really happy that you were here with us this morning. We look forward to having you on for the rest of the week. Remember, if you want an interview with us, you can email us at amprimewesen@gmail.com, or you can call or WhatsApp us at 868-620-1331. We leave you with more of the sound of AMI with her Lightbox episode for her song Champion. Have a great day.
Resilient at heart and strong in your spirit, tight time for me, big up my people. From your trust in a God and fight in a life if you win, cause yeah, when I go leave ya. In your heart you are a lion, yeah. In your heart you are a lion, yeah. So you fish shine your light and win your fight like a champion and say after me. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Never Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Say wah boy, because a little bottle. I say a little bottle, yeah. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion. Say wah boy, because you little bottle. I say you little bottle, yeah. Never give up in a life, for me know you are a champion.